Hi, and welcome to my new road trip series. We're going to go on a 2.5-week road trip through the Baltics. And as I did with my Balkans road trip, I'm going to make this first video about the nuts and bolts of the road trip, where I went, when, the costs, and other logistical information. If you're thinking of a Baltics road trip, I'll tell you that I had a great time. It was easy to get around. It was beautiful. I loved the food, and I felt like I could have easily spent way longer than 19 days putzing around there. So let's get right into the deets. Where? Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, obviously. The Baltics. How did I get there? Well, I broke it up into 2 flights. Straight from California was going to be rather long, and I was trying to decide whether to break it up into 2 days or just suck it up and get it all over with at once. I decided I just wasn't up for doing it all at once, so I flew to Amsterdam, stayed the night, got a nice shower and a hotel breakfast, and caught a flight to Riga the next day. And I would do it that way again if I had to. And can I just say that Delta has gone massively downhill? The last few times I've flown with them, the food is horrendous, the bathrooms are filthy, and the seats are incredibly uncomfortable. I keep having flight credits with them though, so I can't seem to break the cycle of booking my flights with them. Anyway, the flight from Amsterdam to Riga was with Air Baltic and was just over 2 hours long. For a one-way with checked bag, it cost me about 252 euros. So Riga, the capital of Latvia, was my starting and ending point for this trip. And this is the route I took, a counterclockwise loop. I basically marked places of interest on the map and then built a route around that. I tried to space it out so I wasn't driving more than a few hours between each destination and that I had 2 to 3 nights in each place. I'm used to slow travel, so honestly, it was feeling pretty rushed to me. When I was planning the road trip, I thought that would be fine, but once I actually started the road trip, I realized that the pacing was too tiring for me. So if you have more time than I did, you might want to stretch it out in each place. How did I get around? By car, duh, it's a road trip. I try to rent with local companies when I can, and that is exactly what I did this time. I rented with LatRent, and here's why. They had good reviews, they had automatics available, they had the best price compared to other rental companies, there was no border crossing fees if you stayed within the Baltics, it included unlimited mileage, and they were communicative and flexible with me regarding the pickup location and time. I was thoroughly satisfied with my choice and had no complaints. They even left charging cables and a water bottle in the car for me. Okay, lodging. As usual, the criteria for my lodging was making sure I had good Wi-Fi, had to be female-owned, or if I couldn't find that, owned by a couple. There had to be parking included, and most importantly, it had to be clean. I stayed at apartments the whole time except for my last night, which was a hotel near the airport. When did I go? Well, I was there in the summer, mid-July to early August. I would not go in the summer again just because of the heat and the crowds everywhere, not just the Baltics, especially the airports. I cannot deal with the crowds or the smells, and after this trip, I have basically sworn off any summer travel from now on. So, what were the costs? Starting with the most costly, lodging was roughly $1,300. The rental car was the second most costly, coming in at $622. I did not pick up my rental car until a few days into the trip, so that's for 16 days of having a rental car. Food and a few other miscellaneous items like shampoo, body wash, etc. was $260. And keep in mind, I just ate grocery store food and food from markets the whole time. I did not eat out at restaurants, so my food costs were on the cheaper end. Souvenirs, aka art, was $236. Gas was $193. And the bolt I took from Riga Airport to my Airbnb the first day was $20. So the grand total for 19 days in the Baltics, not including flights, was $2,631. Not as affordable as some of my other road trips, but really not bad either. And speaking of money, everything is in euros because the countries are all part of the EU, and I paid with credit and debit card everywhere. So finally, what is the deal with the Baltics? Well, if you don't know much about this region, you might look at the surrounding countries and assume it's very Slavic. And yes, while they were under Soviet control until 1991, and there are still certain areas that are predominantly Russian, each country has its own identity and history. And the language is not Slavic either. Latvian and Lithuanian are a Baltic language in the Indo-European language group, while Estonian is a Finno-Ugric language. If you want to read up on the history of this region, there's plenty of detailed information out there for you going way back, including their pagan beliefs and folklore that were taught for centuries after the introduction of Christianity. These countries have a strong national identity, but they've faced a long history of being ruled over and over by different countries and empires. For a long time, Latvia and Estonia were under the rule and influence of German nobility, while Lithuania had strong ties with Poland. But by the end of the 1700s, all three countries were incorporated into the Russian Empire. The Baltic Germans were allowed to maintain their position as the ruling class in Latvia and Estonia, though. Fast forward to 1920, post-World War I, when the peace treaties recognized the independence of the Baltic states. Fast forward 20 more years, and in June of 1940, all three countries fell under Soviet control as part of the secret Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. 1 year later, tens of thousands of Estonians, Latvians, and Lithuanians were sent in mass deportations to the desert or Arctic regions of the USSR. In 1989, 50 years after that pact was signed, nearly 2 million people formed a 430-mile-long human chain from Tallinn through Riga and ending in Vilnius. This was to demand the independence from the Soviet Union and demand recognition of the secret pact, which the USSR continually denied while claiming the Baltic states freely joined the Soviet Union. After the demonstrations, the USSR finally acknowledged the existence of the pact and declared it invalid. Despite decades and even centuries of struggling on and off for their independence, the Baltic countries finally gained their independence back, hopefully for good, in 1991. So there's the logistics of my Baltics road trip and the extreme nutshell history of the region. In the next episode, we're going to explore Riga, a city I loved, and I'm going to taste test my first Baltic goodies. If you're excited about exploring the Baltics, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to know when more episodes come out, make sure you hit subscribe and notify. See you next time.
Whoa, it's smoky. It's kind of sweet. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's interesting.